minute and we'll kick off. Stuff. Yep. It's all been just a little bit too much to try and cover the whole 10 minutes with talking shit.
Yeah.
Good evening, motorsports enthusiasts. Welcome to the stunning Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. We're here tonight to kick off round 3 of the MC Motorsport Super Formula Lights Championship. My name is Jared Cole. I'm joined in the commentary booth this evening by Mitch Hobbs, and we've got an exciting race ahead as the rising stars of the racing world, at least this virtual racing world, take on the legendary circuit in their pursuit of glory. Mitch, great to have you back in the commentary booth. How have you been, mate?
Thanks, Jared. It's been good, been busy, but it's hard being an adult. That's Rich coming from a 20-year-old, but welcome. This is full-time work, and this is now we've got this to do. This is much more exciting than work, isn't it?
Isn't it just? Adulting sucks, and on that note, I'm going to send a massive apology out to our viewers for the bit of hot micing we had going on earlier. As it happens, I've gotten myself a whole new setup here, ready to show off, which is, look, it's exciting. But the problem, of course, is that I've had to reload absolutely everything for your broadcast this evening. So we'll try and sort it out as we go. We're already having issues with our overlays and trying to get them running. So hopefully we're up and running tonight. If not, let us know in the chat if stuff's just not working. We'll get there eventually. Let's talk about tonight's race. So we are here at Spa, the legendary Spa. It's no ordinary track. It's got a long and storied motorsport history. 7Ks long or thereabouts. A whole lot of really dramatic elevation changes. There's lots of fast straights, iconic corners like Eau Rouge, Pohon and Blanchimont. And this circuit tonight, Mitch, is really going to demand some precision and really total commitment from these drivers as they make their way around the course. What are you expecting tonight?
Look, I'm expecting a lot of slipstream, especially, sort of down Camel Straight, not a Bathurst. They almost start with the same letter. Camel Straight, there's going to be a lot of slipstreaming. I think it's going to be... I'm hoping there's a clean lap one, especially around here. It's really nasty if you get damaged quite early on. But certainly, I think we're going to see a lot of side-by-side action early on, but it's probably going to ruin the tyres a bit. We've got a reasonably high track temp here, 39 degrees, only air temp of 18, so it's certainly going to affect a couple of the drivers. You've got to have really just mentally be there, so hoping that a lot of drivers can keep their cool and hopefully we'll have a good race.
Yeah, look, fingers crossed, and we've got a pretty packed field this evening. We've got just shy of 30 drivers jumping in this evening, with possibly a couple more on the way by the look of things. So it's going to be a very, very busy race. We're going to have to do our best to keep an eye on everything and actually make sure we capture it all. And that's been the challenge. We've had a couple of really exciting races, lots going on all around the track, and really battles happening from front to back. But when you look at the championship standings, Scott Pocock, Doug Gowans and Craig Edwards are really... Look, they're out in front, but only just. It's still pretty close right through the top 10. Only really separated by just about 30 points from 1st through 10th. So it's going to be close racing. We do, of course, have the reverse top 10 grid for the second race. So anything can happen. Spa is going to be one of those tracks where I'm expecting potentially a few crashes to really change the shape of this championship as we get to the midway point of a fairly short 6-week season. So, what's your call? Last time you and I were in the booth together, I think I said turn 7 we were going to see a safety car.
Yeah, that's what you were a bit more. And I said hopefully a clean lap one.
You're a bit more optimistic.
I was right.
You're a bit more optimistic. But we ended up with a safety car right at the end of lap 1. Now Spa's not as short and simple as that track. What's your call for tonight? Are we actually going to see a clean first lap, or is this just going to be absolute chaos and carnage the minute they hit Eau Rouge?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm always optimistic for a clean lap 1. If we're not looking at a clean lap 1, I'm thinking turn 9. I reckon we'll have a safety car by if that's the case. I think people, I'm hoping, are going to be smart up Eau Rouge, Radion, down Camel should be fine. Like Com could prove tricky, but I know Rivage and No Name will certainly be ones to look out for. So I'm going to say turn 9.
Turn 9, okay. That's... Look, if we can make it through half a lap, that's not too bad.
I'll take that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I guess that's technically not half a lap, is it?
Look, it's
probably like a third of a lap.
It is probably a third of a lap, to be fair. But
yeah.
In terms of number of corners, what can possibly go wrong on a straight? I guess, right? Yeah. Let's see how it all pans out. Let's see how it all pans out this evening. But drivers just finishing up their qualifying laps in the background. Bit of a different approach with open qualifying this evening. So. We might just see a few names jump to the front with some lucky slipstreams, getting them a time that they perhaps weren't expecting around Spa. But all in all, we're seeing most of our drivers lapping around the 2-minute 10 mark. So there's not going to be many laps in each of these races, just due to the length of the track. I don't know that we're I guess my biggest concern with the safety cars, right, is we have to see at least 2 laps of a safety car if we do actually go under safety. And on a course that's this long, that could chew an entire race. So I'm really hoping we do get a clean set of laps out of these drivers. But really, anyone's race from here. The times are all looking pretty consistent. So, look, Mitch, over to you. Where are we kicking off tonight? Who are we keeping our eyes on?
I mean, certainly Scott Pocock's always one. I find he always drives well. He's got a solid, consistent pace throughout a race situation. Scott Bartine, he's also another one we like to keep an eye on. Of course, the likes of Douglas Gowan as well. Mitch Curry's also one to keep an eye on. So I put my eyes probably, if we're wanting to look for some close racing, I would probably say Scott Bartine's the one to keep an eye on. He's 4th at the moment, so he's got a couple of guys to get through if he wants to get to the lead. We know he's certainly capable of doing that in a race, so probably keep an eye on him.
Right, we'll keep an eye out for the 909 entry of Scott Bartine this evening. But plenty of names throughout the field that we're very used to seeing in our Super Formula Light Championship. As I said, halfway through the season, so we're getting really a lot closer to the end, a little faster than perhaps some of these drivers were planning on. So they'd better get the skates on tonight if they do want to make those last points as we approach the end of the season in just a few weeks' time. But the drivers finishing up qualifying now, and we should be just about ready to take a look at the grid and see how they've actually stacked up after running their best laps around this demanding circuit here at Spa. So let's take a look at the grid for race 1 this evening of the MC Motorsport Super Formula Light Championship, and Adrian Loretti from Kittens Racing taking on the front row right alongside Scott Pocock, also from Kittens Racing. So that team got it well dialed here at Spa. Edwards and Bartine on 3rd and 4th, and then Bradley and Gowans rounding out that top 6. We've got Donahoe and Blackburn in row 4 by this point. Mitch Curry, the namesake of the championship here, has found his way into the top 10. A new entry, Giuliano Sinise, tonight in 10th. I'm not really sure what he's up for, so we'll keep an eye on his performance this evening. One to watch for me, Ocean Colangelo, very well known in the MC Motorsport Discord as a bloody quick go-karter. She's young, but she's fast, so let's see what she can do tonight. Right up alongside Lee Curl-Doulis, who we know has got some racing chops himself. Alex Wilson and James Bunker in 13th and 14th. The ADHD Racing team, as always, in their spectacular stripes. Tom Maloney and Lam Newen in 15th and 16th. Calnan and Neal in 17th and 18th. Robillard and Leiden rounding out the top 20 with Tesoriero and McLaren in 21st and 22nd. Philippou and Sam Kay. I will get that pronunciation right one day for you, Sam, but it won't be tonight, in 23rd and 24th. With Gerard and Lefebvre 25th and 26th. Ryan Palmer, the next ADHD Racing entry, back in 27th alongside Nankervis in 28th. And then Bowman and East rounding out the 30 with Darren Fahey just dropping on the back in the Kittens Racing entry there. So, here we are, we're good to go. As we wait on the lights.
Ooh, this is going to be
See
good.
if we can get the start. Here we go, we are away. So far, so good. We look clean as we come down the main straight of Spa. Nice wide corner, but we're still going to be... big lock up there. I think everyone's made it through, though. Just here we go, coming down to Eau Rouge. This is what we've been waiting for, and this, I reckon, is probably the highest risk point of the circuit as the Kittens Racing entries, Loretti and Pocock, jump on through. So far, so good. Can we all make it through on the first lap? It's a lot to ask, but they've done it. They're looking clean. God, look at those Super Formula Lights cars. I love the liveries that we've got on these. It's a bloody colourful field, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Oh, let's go 4 wide into the com. That's a terrible idea, people. Let's not do that. But,
in the
someone's
background.
round.
That looks like Hayden Calnan, I think, that might have gone off in the back.
Possibly. Can't quite tell.
Or Nathan Bowman, perhaps. We'll keep an eye on that and just go back and take another look in just a moment.
I think it's Calnan. Could be
It does
wrong.
look like Calnan.
Let's have a look down. No name. We're clean through there, so my turn 9 prediction was incorrect. Down towards Puon now. And this is a fast corner, especially for the Super Formula Lights. So, a little bit wide there from the Kittens race cars, but nicely done. Up down towards what I like to call Piff Paff, but I think it's got some other fancy name instead. But I know people like to refer to it as Piff Paff. And we go down to... Oh, and there's chaos in the background. Who was that? That's somebody around. I think Maloney could be involved there. I'm not quite sure.
Does look like Tom Maloney as well, who's ended up out there.
Someone's on the roof.
That's okay. This is why I've got a halo. Well, look, we're not making it through this first lap without a safety car if a car's upside down. Let's be honest. That looks like it could be Jake Robillard that's ended up upside down. Let's take a quick look back and see if we can catch what's happened to Tom Maloney there.
Yeah, let's have a look.
He's just gotten sideways.
Safety car. Yeah,
he's just
been slammed around by somebody.
I think he actually just lost traction on the cold tires.
Yeah,
as we have another look at what's happened to James Bunker here.
Two people have taken. Holy dear!
That's Bunker and Robillard both out there. So bloody hell, that's a big one.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I was expecting that. I mean, we didn't get through lap 1 without a safety car, so that whole optimism was out, but we did get past turn 9. So
that's something. It could be worse.
No complaints. Yeah.
So we're under safety car, and for a 20-minute race, this could be a long one. As we see the drivers just starting to bunch up behind the safety car now. So, by the look of things, that's going to be Lee Keldoulis, who's in the pits now, getting some repairs done. James Bunker and Jake Robillard, who are all going to be off the back of the pack after those incidents. Somehow, Tom Maloney's managed to hold it together and gotten back on track. He's a bit further back down the field. Back in 25th now after that spin, but I dare say he'll be feeling like maybe it was for the best, given that he's ended up safe off the side of the track when all of that chaos has happened on the next corner. So I guess we settle back in here.
Tell you one thing for certain: his tyres are going to be cooked. Needless to say, so he's excuse me, not going to be in the best spot. But we'll see how the safety car goes, see if it comes in this lap or decides to stay out another one. I would dare say it might stay out another one.
Now, this is the problem with the iRacing setup, right? You can't, as race control, you can't actually call the pace car back in until it's completed at least one full lap. So the bare minimum that you can run an iRacing safety car here is 2 full laps, which is a really, really long time, particularly so early in the race. These guys on cold tyres, just starting to get some temp in. It's going to drop straight back out of them, and with a 20-minute sprint race, 2 laps under sprint car conditions. If they're lapping at what did we say earlier? 2 minutes 10 was about what they were lapping.
Yeah, around that in quali. So probably maybe 2:10s, 2:11, something like that.
They're going to be doing more like 3 or 4 minutes under pace car. This is going to chew it up, and we're going to have an all-out sprint to the finish. So, got a little way to go yet before that becomes a reality. But this is just going to chew up some time. And for Pocock and Edwards out front, they're going to be feeling pretty comfortable, but keeping a very close eye on their mirrors as we come around for the restart. Now, Loretti, who started up in second alongside Pocock, actually started in pole, has found himself all the way back in fourth. So that's not gone so well for him. Most of the rest of the field have managed to keep their positions though.
Yeah, rough one for Loretti. I don't know what happened. I think he maybe had a bit of a scuffle a little bit earlier, but we'll see how it plays out. I mean, he could take a leaf out of Scott Pocock's book and make his way back up the field. Scott Bartine's good for that one as well. He's up into third from starting fourth, so not any probably too many huge losers other than maybe Calnan, Maloney. Ryan Palmer's up 11 positions, so that's a great one. A great start for him. Tessariro's up 6 positions, and look, there's certainly plenty more to go here. We've still got a whole nother lap. So I put my money on we're going to come around next lap and the safety car will come in and we'll have just over 10 minutes to go.
So something worth pointing out, and I'm hoping we don't get to that stage in this race, but something you missed last week, Mitch. We discovered that under iRacing safety car conditions, if you finish out the time under safety car, then you're given one hard and fast sprint lap to finish off the race after the timer has passed. So it's you can end up with a single lap that is just absolutely flat out, with everyone trying their best to make something of the final lap they have. Now, I'm really hoping we don't find ourselves in that situation here, because, of course, that would mean another 13 minutes of safety car, and frankly, I don't know if I can fill that much space with my random drivel this evening. But I'm hoping that we do see the safety car coming in at the end of this lap so that we can get back under green racing conditions and perhaps, if we're lucky, actually get a bit of real racing into this sprint session for race 1 this evening.
Yeah, certainly hoping the safety car decides it's going to come in on this lap. Most drivers are sitting in nicely, getting there, need to get the tyres warm before they start again. They don't want to go around on cold and potentially lose some grip, lock the brake, something like that. So, because the safety car's going slow though, it's in no rush. The drivers can get all the way up to the safety car if they want, but no real point in doing that. Of course, it'll pull off hopefully the end of this lap, and Scott Pocock can lead the start of this race. He'll take control and he'll speed off whenever he would like to.
Race control confirming at the moment we are on 1 lap to green, so pace car lights are out. We're expecting to go green at the end of this lap. And we can see the drivers getting ready for getting around Spa again at hopefully a decent rate of knots, getting some temp into the tyres. Scott Bartine there, looking menacing in his red and black everything simulated entry. He'll be looking to get a good jump off the line. I'm not actually sure with Spa just how far back the control line is here. We had a few, not arguments, but a few conversations, let's say, around where the control line actually sits at each of these tracks and exactly where we're allowed to start overtaking after a safety car leaves. Pocock, though, supremely confident in his tyres. I haven't seen him weaving at all. He's quite happy to just follow the pace car, let everyone do a bit of weaving behind him. He's feeling like he's got pretty good control of that car and ready to go.
Yeah, I think maybe he's just waiting till a bit later, maybe just after Piff Paff, or maybe coming up down towards Blanchemont just to get the tyres warm, or maybe he's just warming them with the brakes instead of maybe dragging the brakes a bit, not having to warm them with a bit of weaving. We might try and leave it a bit later, keep as much rubber on those tyres as possible, because of course they're using the tyres up a little bit by doing that weaving. Not a whole lot, of course, but there you go. So he is just after Piff Paff decided to start warming his tyres a little bit.
Might be about time to get into it, hey?
Yeah, I mean, it is a fairly hot track, so I mean, warming them's probably not a key priority immediately, but they're going to come round onto the straight towards the lovely Blanchemont left-hander, and the safety car should soon pull away.
It's Craig Edwards we're seeing with just a bit of an iffy connection. We'll have to keep an eye on that. It's not too bad, but a few little blinks here and there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So stewards will pull him in for that if that gets much worse.
Yeah, I don't want to be I don't like being the stewards. I don't want to be the stewards in that situation. I have to basically say, hey, your connection's rubbish. Please be careful. Please stop racing. I don't want to be the stewards in that situation. So Scott Pocock makes his way down to the final corners, the bus stop. The safety car will pull into the pits momentarily, and then Scott Pocock will take control of this race. And he is free to go whenever he wishes so, and I think he will go out of the final corner. Give anyone a chance. I think he has gone for it. So he's back in the lead.
That green flag.
I think he maybe's caught Edwards sleeping just a little bit there. But nicely done through the source, down up towards Rouge Radion. And they've certainly caught Scott Bartine sleeping. Loretti, this is a good opportunity for him. Get in the slipstream of Bartine and potentially get a move done down the Kemmel Straight. And of course the driver's going to keep him on the track limits here as well. But hopefully huge. Oh, Craig Edwards comes blinking out of nowhere. Oh, side by side, that's Loretti and Bartine as well. So it's going to go a couple of cars wide down the Kemmel, and Craig Edwards is going to get through on Pocock, but it's going to be probably a slipstream fight to the end of this race if Pocock can hold on here.
Really tidy move from Edwards there, just gets the extra pace down that long straight. Now Pocock though has the rest of this lap and really a whole lot of straight sections where he's going to be able to pull this one back again. So he won't be in any rush really, just trying to stay in touch with Edwards. But this is the thing with Edwards, he's quick. No denying it, as Loretti runs wide and sacrifices some more time. Craig Edwards we've seen just dance away from everybody once he gets out in front with some clear air. So keep an eye on that, because Pocock already out to almost 6/10. He's going to have to do some work to stay in touch here.
Yeah, if he could just keep within that slipstream, I believe it's around sort of the 6/10 mark. Oh, a lot of dirt on the outside of the exit, a piff path there coming through.
It's going to cost Pocock some more time too. He's now out to almost a second. Here goes Edwards. He's making the move. He doesn't want anyone in that slipstream.
Not in a good spot. Bartine's not in a good spot either. He's got no slipstream. Neither does Loretti. Bradley's got some slipstream on Loretti though. Gowans has got maybe a tad bit of slipstream. Donahue as well, just being overtaken by Blackburn. Wilson is fighting with Mitch Curry down towards the bus stop, too wide. That looks like Loretti and Bradley coming down into the bus stop in second positions. Oh, and somebody's...
Donahue's around.
Oh, that was... Oh, who was that?
Thomas Donohue, that's caused absolute carnage back there.
That's Colin Angelo.
Yeah, so we've had Donohue, Colangelo both taken out there, and I think a few others caught up in it as well. We've seen a complete reorder of the grid as we see more smoke in the background. And that's Darren Fay who's had an off as well.
Yeah.
Not what we were hoping for. Let's see if we can get him back underway.
Certainly not. Colangelo was just in a bit of, I think, an unfortunate spot, but your one to watch, Giuliano Sinesi, was, I think, just avoided Lenson. That's
just nowhere to go.
Not a very good spot to sit.
Look at that front left. That's done.
That car is crabbing. That's, see you later, people. That's game over.
Very unfortunate, but we're back into it, and that'll be just some more entries to the pits there. And unfortunately, it's cost a bunch of other drivers quite some time. However, the winners out of that little scuffle, Mitch Curry gets himself up another couple of spots as a result. And I noticed we've got a little bit of a Curry fan in the chat this evening. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. As well as our usual suspects, Phil Fella, Neil Haynes. Good to see you again here, gents. We're doing our best to bring you this live and exclusive from Spa here for MC Motorsport. As we get into the last 5 minutes of this 20-minute sprint, I'm just glad we're still green, honestly.
Yeah, look, I didn't really know how that was going to be handled. I smelt a potential safety car there, but it's proven me wrong. So it's good that they're still going here. Scott Bartine, he's in his own little bubble here. He's just a couple of tenths behind Pocock, not enough for a slipstream, but Scott, just over a second and a bit to Bradley, so if he can just hold on here or maybe get a bit of time to Pocock, he can really pull away and look for a good podium finish here.
Already moving past. Makes it look easy on the way past Greg Bradley, and Doug Gowans will be looking to do the same, I reckon.
Yeah, certainly down the Kemmel. Gowans is certainly going to look for a bit of a move on Bradley.
Bradley's opened it right up. Doug Gowans can stick with him.
Yeah.
What's happened there?
Maybe just a rough exit there for Gowans out of the final corners.
It makes all the difference, doesn't it? If you can't get out of those corners and stay in the slipstream, that's it. You're not keeping up.
No, absolutely. It's got to be a slipstream train if you want any chance. Bartine's opened it up to Ready here as well, so he's only going to be fighting with Bradley. Bradley's going to come back at him. I think Bradley's going to get past here. He's going to get back past before the entry to Lacolmi does.
Nice and tidy, nothing to it.
Yeah.
good to see. It always makes me nervous when they're side by side as they get in closer. So we see, who's that? Doug Gowan's going side by side with Tyler Blackburn. Blackburn coming out the better of it. But these two going absolutely at it. I don't know quite what they're playing out there, but that's not a great spot to be side by side. There's not a lot of room to give anyone.
No, that's certainly not the greatest spot to be on the outside for Gowans coming through the con, but I think it was a fair amount of respect. Gowans maybe run a little bit wide. I don't think that was Blackburn's fault, but slipstream certainly going to bring Gowans back into this one if he can hold it through Piff-Paff. He's looking a little bit worse for wear in this little first bit of the race, poor old Gowans, but certainly doing his best just to hold his position, try and look for some good points here, and he's got a good gap back to Mitch Curry, so that's certainly going to give him the confidence to maybe try and go for another attack here on Blackburn if he can find that opportunity.
And I think at this point Curry's going to have to just have to hang in there and hope for a second race start from the front of the grid to help him earn some points, as we see Gowans making the move up around the outside with the slipstream, so he'll have the pace here. But again, Tyler Blackburn just holds him off, plays the defensive line, and Gowans has to pull out again. So Blackburn doing all the right stuff here just to keep Doug at bay, make sure that he's not getting that nose too far up alongside. As we see, we've had a pretty big coming together by look things in the background. What's up here? Through a rouge. It was always going to happen, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So that's Tom Maloney.
Yeah, they're going to be really quick, those tyres.
Yeah, that's done.
Yeah, it's going over to him. Just the tyres will be quick. He'll bounce back, I'd say, in race 2 from a good position. Southern fairway up the field. Just a bit of an unfortunate piece of luck for him. Gowans, hello, on the outside of Blackburn.
The upside, Blackburn's going defensive, but he just can't hold it. Now, can he go over under and regain that? It was just a touch. That's he's going to have to redress that, and good on him. Blackburn's pulled over to let Gowans have the place back, but they've both lost out. Mitch Curry sailing on through, takes 6th place.
And Sinesi's going to come through here as well.
Yeah, so the dark horse, Sinesi.
Cars in the background. Wow, this is a good battle.
What have we had here? This is the thing, when you've got a full field like this, trying to keep your eye on everything that's going on is almost impossible. As we have a look, Sinesi now getting tailed by Doug Gowans.
I don't think Gowans' tyres are going to be in the best form at the moment. I don't know how Blackburn's are going to be either. Probably not as much. Probably his front wings, probably the bigger problem here.
A minute to go, so I'd have to think we're getting close to a final lap. With Craig Edwards coming around to the end of the lap out in the lead. Still a full second back to Scott Pocock. Edwards just cruising. But, commentator's curse, I did see him crash out on the last lap last week. So, hopefully he can hang with it.
You've jinxed it now.
I know I have. Yeah. Let's take a look back to this group, though. Lam Nguyen leading out a group of 6 cars here with Ryan Palmer and Andrew Lydon swapping spots. This is messy. Through into the chicane. They're all coming in as a single line, though, so I think we can all just make it through here.
That was
just barely.
Messy.
So here we go, last lap. And how's this mid-pack racing? As we see them start to separate out a little bit. Ryan Palmer just getting absolutely monstered by everyone. And a big lock-up under brakes.
Jeez, I didn't know what's going to happen there. Let's go 2 wide up Eau Rouge. I don't recommend that as a strategy, but let's go for it anyway, they say. And hopefully no carnage ensues here. Just drops him behind. He's got his ADHD teammate behind as well to help. We're going to go 2 wide down the Camel now with that slipstream. With a side draft. Maybe we're going to go 3 wide. I don't recommend this kid.
Here we go.
Now. Down the com. What can happen here?
We've got a lot of action up front as well. Lam Nguyen's about to get past there. Everyone holding together, a bit of puff of smoke in the air, get a bit of tyre lock-up, but everyone's made it through clean somehow. As Lam Nguyen starts to put the move on Doug Gowans, Jake Robillard just hanging in the background as well. this is where the racing is. Craig Edwards out in front will take the win here, I'm sure, without too much of an issue. But back here, the battle for 10th is about 8 cars deep. So it's not going to take too much of a mistake here. And one of these drivers may just find themselves at the front of the grid for race 2.
Yeah, it's going to be a fight for pole for race 2.
Gowans doing everything he can to hold off Lam Nguyen as Jake Robillard locks it up. Here we go, Lam Nguyen doing everything he can, and Gowans just making that car 3 lanes wide. As we cut ahead just briefly, Craig Edwards through the final corner. Scott Pocock in behind him, but Edwards waltzes away with an easy win.
Yeah,
followed by Pocock, Bartine and Loretti. Good to see, but here we go. Gowans and Lam Nguyen right alongside each other. No slipstream for either of them. Lam Nguyen's got the inside for this corner. How much pressure is Gowan going to put on him?
All of it.
All the pressure, but it's not going to be enough. Lam Nguyen manages to round that out, takes 10th, and he'll take pole position for race 2. Have a look at that.
Yeah, and Nguyen there just really played that one nicely to the end of that race. Put Gowans in a tough position and had a good solid run there and put himself in pole for race 2.
We take a look at the results from race 1. Craig Edwards, an easy win again this evening over Scott Pocock in the Kittens Racing entry. Almost 2 seconds ahead in the end. Just a masterclass from Edwards. And he's really proven to be the one to beat in this series. Bartine doesn't manage to move up too much further, but finds himself on the podium for race 1 in the Everything Simulated entry. Another Kittens Racing entry from Loretti in 4th. Bradley in the entry in 5th. Mitch Curry finds himself halfway up that top 10, taking out 6th. Then Blackburn, our new entry, Giuliano Sinesi, Scott Lefebvre and Lam Nguyen rounding out the top 10 in what was a pretty eventful 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, look, there was safety car, which took us about halfway through the race. Good fighting, some incidents. But, yeah, no, overall, certainly that battle for P10 for the reverse grid pole was a really good one from the drivers there. Nguyen and Gowan's a really solid effort overall. So I think they should be very happy with that one, and hopefully some more fighting in race 2. No incidents though, please. We don't need another safety car.
Let's see if we can get clean racing in race 2 as we take a look here, and we're going to bring Craig Edwards into the commentary box. Craig, I'm hoping you can hear us. What a fantastic start to your evening with a win in the first race.
Yeah, thank you, Jared. Yeah, that was pretty straightforward in the end. I didn't know how it was going to go 3 wide on the first lap heading into Lake Coombe, but luckily got through there unscathed. And then, yeah, from there just was able to pick off Scott and hold him off for the rest of the race. So, yeah, good start.
Making it look easy from this side of things.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm definitely pushing 10 tenths. But yeah, just lots of little corrections make it look smooth.
Yeah, look, it's not the first time we've seen you out in front with quite a gap. So look, I did put the commentary curse on you last week, where you held that first place for pretty much the entire race and ended up spinning on the last. I'm glad to see that hasn't happened tonight for you. What are you expecting from race 2? You're going to be fighting back from position 10. What's your strategy as you go into the longer race this evening?
Just to be patient. I think last week it was about the 25-minute mark before I hit the lead. So probably hope to do something similar tonight. It's going to be a bit trickier with all the drafting that we do up the Camel. So we'll have to watch out for that. But yeah, just patience, don't touch anyone, and yeah, slowly work my way forward.
Well, hopefully it's a pretty stress-free and incident-free start to this next race. But we'll let you get back in there, get some more laps under your belt, and looking forward to seeing what you can produce for race 2. Well done, Craig.
Okay, thanks, Jared. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Craig Edwards, our winner there from race 1. So, Mitch, as we look ahead to race 2. Just a couple of minutes for drivers to get in some more laps and see if we can get a little more familiar with these cars around the track in these conditions. What's your pick as we come into the second race?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's certainly going to be a tough one to call. I think overall, maybe we're looking at Loretti. I think if he comes through early, he's got a good chance. But as Craig said, the drafting down the Camel certainly makes it unpredictable. So if you're looking for someone a little bit more left of field, maybe someone like Lam Nguyen just to hold it nicely, or probably the one I'd be looking at, maybe Lefebvre as well, could hold something in here. I guess it really just depends on people's strategies throughout the race.
100%. And again, if we can just make it through those first couple of laps and get everyone sorted out and into a single file, we just might, I know it's a big ask, we just might get a clean race 2 with no safety cars. Wouldn't that be a dream?
That's a dream we can't have.
No, this is why we can't have nice things. We keep bringing it on ourselves. As we take a look at the temps today, it hasn't changed too much from race 1. We're still seeing 38 degrees on track, so tyre degradation is going to be something the driver's going to have to watch for as we go into this longer race. Obviously, pit stops starting to play a bit of a feature here as we come into race 2. Strategy-wise, we've seen some really interesting stuff already in this season. Do you reckon we're going to see any early stops and people trying to milk out a bit of a fuel-saving strategy to get them to the end?
Yeah, I don't. Certainly the drafting and slipstreaming will help the fuel usage, but I don't really know what the strategy is. I'm wondering. The problem I have is that I don't know if being in the draft is going to be a better option than maybe pitting a little bit earlier and going out in the clean air. That I don't know the answer to, and that's what I think will either make or break some of the drivers' strategy in this race.
Well, as we get closer to the start of race 2 this evening, drivers just getting in their very last bit of warm-up before we start to grid them again. And as always, a reduced grid time for the second race. So we'll have to be quick in running through this for you. But we're just about ready to bring our drivers back to the track for race 2 here in the MC Motorsport Super Formula Lights Championship, round 3 of this 6-round series, as we see the drivers being waved in for the end of this warm-up session just prior to our feature race this evening. So a reminder, a reverse top 10 from race 1, which will see our winner Craig Edwards starting from back in 10th. As we see the drivers start to jump to the grid, let's take a quick look down the field. So Lam Nguyen and Scott Lefebvre heading up the front row, followed by our new entry Sinisi and Tyler Blackburn. Mitch Curry and Greg Bradley in 5th and 6th. As we look back, Loretti and Bartine, Pocock and Edwards rounding out the 10, then Gowans and Robillard on the 6th row there. Kildulis and Lydon, followed up by Sam Kay and Gerard. James Bunker from the ADHD Racing Team, alongside Hayden Kalnan. We see Darren Fay, Ryan Palmer, Brian East and Nankovis. Then Chris Philpott and Thomas Donohoe rounding out the top 24. Tristan McLaren, Nathan Bowman, Matthew Neal from Team ANZ CRL alongside Tesseriero. Then Colangelo had a bit of a shocker in that first race. Should be hoping for better this time around with Alexander Wilson in 30th and Tom Maloney starting back in 31st. As we get ready to go under racing conditions again here, drivers lining it up.
Please. Clean
and we're away.
Oh, that's a bad start.
That's a bad start. Someone has stalled on the grid there. Who's that? That's
my God.
That's not what we wanted. Oh my!
Holy
that's
Jesus!
I
can't.
That's
Safety
a
car,
lot.
please.
There we go. Safety cars on track.
Holy crap!
Wow! What a start! I'm not actually sure who it was that stalled in amongst all that, but let's see if we can go back and catch any of that.
Look,
as we see, we've got another crash up on the corner just after turn 1 as well.
I can't. I can't.
So I think that was Tyler.
What do we say to that?
I don't know at this point, frankly. So that's Tyler Blackburn. Blackburn
that's
doesn't
bar
go
time
anywhere.
that's hit him.
Yep. He's just flipping everyone, and that's
That's
Tyler
turned into a
Blackburn.
Formula V now. That's what that looks like.
That
No,
car's
that's
not going
it's
anywhere.
not
You're not
going
driving
anywhere.
that anywhere,
No,
mate.
don't do that.
That's done. As we take a look here, Nankervis off the line as well. Just collisions everywhere. I'm just trying to pick out who has ended up.
You can't pick out. Oh,
I just can't. So,
someone's on their roof.
we've got two cars upside down. Blackburn in the background, just done for. So the list as follows. As we go back live, and there's Tyler Blackburn just trying his best to make his way around without having to tow. Have a look at the crab on that thing. He'll be lucky to get that engine back in one piece.
Yeah. The way that thing's driving, I'd hate to. I can't. What's his steering wheel looking like?
90
Just
degrees to the
straight?
right, I can only assume.
Oh,
The list I've got in front of me of drivers involved in that, here we go. Tyler Blackburn, we know. Scott Bartine, Jamie Nankervis, some of the first to hit. Then Matthew Gerard, Tesoriero, Matt Neal, and Oshan Colangelo all involved in that early incident. So by my count, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers who have all had a bit of a major, and that's not counting any of the minor hits that have happened that are going to ensure that some of these drivers need to head to the pits to get some repairs done. But you are spot on, Neil. The Jaguar livery is still out there. As we see Lam Nguyen all the way out in front on his own. The only one to really survive that, I think. And there, further back, we see Giuliano Sinisi and Scott Lefevre in second and third. So Lam Nguyen just finding the safety car now. As the rest of the field will all get a free pass to catch up to him. But a huge gap all the way back there. That's
why?
rough.
What?
That's rough.
Yeah.
So if we have a look at who's sitting in the pits right now, we've got Nathan Bowman's ended up in the pits getting some repairs done. James Bunker from ADHD, Nankervis and Thomas Donahoe all in the pits. We know as well that Tyler Blackburn's still trying desperately to make his way around the track to get back to the pits without the full track tow penalty that would have happened there. So we'll see if we can just find him out on track. There he is. He's still going.
Jesus.
The little car that could. The little car that could.
The little car that couldn't start. My goodness.
Let's see if we can get a view from the roll bar here. Just how bad is that steering wheel when he's trying to drive
It's
straight?
not as bad as I thought.
That front left wheel, though, I think is actually completely disconnected from the suspension setup.
yes.
It's barely hanging in there. So that might be the saving grace, is that wheel's completely disconnected and so it just isn't providing any turning force at all. The front right's doing all the work. Let's hope he can actually get that back to the pits. But that crab is something special. I don't think I've ever seen a Formula car drift the entire track entirely unintentionally.
That is a very sad image on our screens of that. Yeah.
It is, but I can't look away. I can't look away.
No, yeah, you can't, can you?
That's that rear right is kind of in touch. It's just I can't see Tyler Blackburn getting back into this race, honestly.
No, and I wouldn't blame if he pulled over and stopped, because that's his. I think that's actually irreparable. That damage would have to be.
That's the strangest corner entry angle I think I've ever seen in iRacing. But he's made it work, and he's made it back to the pits, which is pretty bloody impressive. So hats off to you, Tyler Blackburn. An awful start, but a heroic drive to do an entire lap of Spa with a car in that sort of condition. What I will be interested to see, I don't imagine that he's got any fast repairs up his sleeve. But he's actually made it. No. That engine has survived. I have no idea how. The amount of smoke pouring out of the back of that was just insane.
Oh, fast repair.
Fast repair. Still had one up the sleeve. So what he's done here has given himself a fighting chance of some real points. Everyone else in the pits there, Nathan Bowman, Wilson, Bunker, Nankervis and Donahoe, they've all taken the tow. Now, to be fair, a couple of them were upside down. Not much else they could have done, right? But Tyler Blackburn's made it around, and he's going to get more than enough time to smash this out, get on the back of the train behind the safety car, and that's going to be enough for him to stay on the lead lap. Now, whether he makes anything of it or not is an entirely other question, but bloody well done for him.
Yeah, definitely. And safety car doing its thing again. It's obviously not coming in this lap. It's, I'd say, probably the next one.
Yeah, we're still on the first safety car lap here. So they'll be going round again. Tyler Blackburn will be very thankful for that. From a strategic perspective, you can't argue with what he's done here, right? He's had a horribly beaten up car, but he's made it work to at least stay on the lead lap, which a lot of other drivers just haven't done here.
Yeah, certainly one. I'm glad. I mean, he's certainly lucky he's got that fast repair, because I think unfortunately maybe a couple of the other drivers involved may have used their fast repair in the first part of the race. Of race one, I should say. So certainly a tough one for those that may have been involved because of the bad start that Blackburn got, but that's okay. We'll see how that goes for him.
We come around lap 3 of this race. Now, if we have a look at the fast repair situation, it's a little hard to say just who has and hasn't used it yet. I'm not actually sure. It does look like Bunker's used his fast repair. Most of the time spent in the pits for those guys was the tow. So it was a tow around from the start straight all the way back around to the pits. So if we have a look at Nankervis, Bunker and Donahoe, they've all spent about 6 minutes, rather. 6 seconds of they'd be cheering, but 6 minutes getting towed from that starting straight incident all the way around Spa to spend all of about 20 seconds with their fast repair, and they're back on track, but they find themselves a lap down. Nathan Bowman's still just on the way out now, so he's going to manage to come out on the only one lap down as well. But huge impact to 4 or 5 drivers at the end of the field. Tyler Blackburn, as we said, making the very most of it. And we can see him right there, tacked onto the back of this train, despite the horror start for him and getting absolutely mauled by about 7 or 8 cars just basically coming over the top of him. Finds himself back on the back, and there's Alex Wilson just gliding up to the back of that pack as well.
Yeah, so a couple of drivers just getting lucky.
Now he's going to get a wave around here.
Yeah.
So he won't be too disappointed with that. So we see Wilson just... No, sorry, who was that coming past then? So let's keep looking back through here. Nathan Bowman, sorry. 53.
He got a partial wave by.
Yeah, he's not been showing the whole way through the field, but he'll be hoping to make the most of this. Race Control still hasn't pulled this back yet, so there's a chance. Here we go. So we've got wave rounds for Donahoe, Bunker, Nankervis and Bowman from Race Control. Yep. So they're all going to get back on the lead lap, which I think is an excellent choice on the part of the marshals today, because these guys were unfortunately the victims of nothing of their own making in that starting incident. So that'll get them back onto the lead lap at least. Now I'm wondering if there's going to be time for these guys to get around, or if we're going to pull the safety car this lap still, if they do manage to make it up past. So Nathan Bowman, by the look of things, the last of the cars that needs to make it past the safety. Away they'll go. They will want to get moving, because that pace train is going to be back onto green flag conditions in no time.
So they're going to have to put their right foots down and get a wriggle on. I think they've certainly, if they put their pedal to the metal, they've got a pretty good chance of catching up to the back.
Neil, it doesn't look like anyone else actually made it around, but everyone is back on the lead lap now. So all of the cars that were in the pits getting repairs done have all made it back onto the lead lap with those wave rounds, which, yeah, I think is about the best you could hope for after that. So we'll probably actually see, I don't think we're going to pull the safety car in this lap by the look of things, so we'll see another lap to give those guys time to get back on the back. Doesn't make for particularly exciting racing here, of course, but after an incident like that off the start line, I think race control's made the best decision to just try and sort everybody out and get them back into some semblance of order after what happens there.
Certainly not a bad call. I think that's perfectly warranted.
Safety car lights go out, so here we go. We are 1 lap to green at this point, as we see Lam Nguyen starting from pole after his 10th place finish in race 1. He's been quite comfortably just hanging out on his own up front.
Yes, certainly, and it will be interesting to see now, with having been behind the safety car for, by the end of this, it'll be almost, I dare say, close to 15 minutes, whether the drivers will actually need to pit for fuel now. That'll be the big question.
That's a good question. I hadn't even considered that at this point. I mean, surely they won't have used much, but we've seen people pit at about the 10-minute mark in these 40-minute races to try for an early stop and then try and make it through the rest. These guys will have used very little fuel. I am wondering if there's an opportunity here for them to make the pit stop, let the whole grid go by, find themselves in some nice clean air with a full tank of fuel, and not get caught up in too much, and then rely on the possibility of another safety car to get them back in touch after that.
Yeah, look, there's certainly a number of different situations that could play out here. A couple of drivers getting the tyres warm. Given that it's warm on track, I don't think they'll need to do too much of that. But yeah, certainly will be interesting to see how it plays out. I haven't seen the back of Hayden Bowman or any of them at the back of the pack as of yet. So maybe I would say they're not too far behind, but we'll see if they can catch up to the back. Safety car's not going very fast at all. It's got no interest. It's just got its lights out to tell the drivers that it is 1 till green. So the drivers will be getting themselves mentally prepared, waiting for the car ahead to go, and then they'll be able to make their way in this race. We'll come around probably with, I'd say about 25 minutes left.
Take a look back here. Thomas Donahoe's the first of those cars that got waved past, and you can see he's just about to tack onto the back of the train here. So it's Matthew Gerard just ahead of him. Now there's James Bunker, the ADHD Racing entry. We're waiting on Nankervis now, who hopefully is not too far behind. There he is. And there's Nathan Bowman right on his tail. So these two are going to rejoin at just about the right time, I think. As we're
almost perfect timing up to Piff Paff. They're coming, and I reckon maybe just on the exit they'll catch up, or maybe even before they'll probably come out just at Pooon. They'll be behind this train, so they're in a really good spot. These two. We'll what comes of it for them in the rest of this race.
See the field just starting to spread out a little here as we get to this, well, the last quarter or so of this lap. Our final lap, hopefully, for the race under safety car conditions. But getting ready to go green again, and that's not the start we would have hoped for this evening. 15 minutes of our race already gone under safety car conditions after an absolute horror start for most of the pack, really. But not a huge number of people ending up in the pits. We've got 11 cars that have made pit stops across this time. And just having a look at the timings for them, I reckon Ryan Palmer, Greg Bradley and Scott Bartine have all made a pit for fuel to make this an early stop and try and make it to the end on what they've got. Matthew Neal's done the same. Doesn't look like he copped any damage based on the length of his stop. Perhaps some slight damage there. But then Tyler Blackburn, with that fast repair, has gotten in and out real quick. So look, we'll see how they go, but keep an eye on Palmer, Bradley and Bartine, sitting back in 20th through 22nd at the moment, but they've made stops. Yep. Whether that was just for repairs. Ryan Palmer, though, still where he was.
Ooh, Nguyen's really... Oh, he caught them all napping.
Held them way up there and then has gunned it again. So Giuliano Sinise's got all the work to do to catch up. As we take a look, the rest of the field's starting to spread out a bit. And away we go.
Yep, single
file. Take it easy, folks. Take it easy.
Oh, no. No.
That's Donahoe.
Drowned.
That's Donahoe Maloney. Maloney's gone around in the background there. Let's see if we can see what's happened. He's back up and running.
No crashing. I think just the cold tyres maybe didn't get them quite warm enough.
Yeah, as we see, Colangelo's had a bit of a rough start, just struggling to get back underway, and has actually, looks like, come together with Maloney. That's been missing that front wing, so that's going to cause all sorts of issues.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of these drivers not having the best of luck this evening, and there's still 3 rounds to go. And speaking of rounds, it was announced just before the start of this race this evening.
That's Mitch Curry. Sorry, we'll have a look here. Mitch Curry has just he's just about saved it, and then it's that Scott Lefebvre that's just spun behind him. And, just gets hung up on the curb there. But then Darren Fahey's had an off as well. And yep, just rode the curb, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, that's a tough one, but still no huge incidents thankfully at the moment. But as I was saying before,
together.
Oh yeah, he's doing nice. As I was saying before, Jared, it was just announced just before the start of this race that the final round here, that was the driver's vote, has actually gone to Zandvoort.
That's going to be an interesting
round. America. Yeah, when I saw the voting, I didn't know where it was going to go, but Zandvoort scares me. I'm not going to lie, especially in these cars. That's going to be interesting to say the least. But a good selection. I think will provide some really good racing with the banking, of course, as well. So
yeah, great.
That'll be a good one to watch out for. But we're here at Spa, and Doug Garrins is currently trying to chase down Edwards. And
we just point out Edwards started in 10th. We said he'd be moving up through the field. That incident's probably made it a bit easier than he thought. He's up into 4th now. Watch how quickly he carves this up and tracks down Sinise out in front. And race control's just advised us that we do have a drive-through penalty. That is for car 968. So that is Sam Katazinas. He's been given a drive-through for the exit of turn 1. So that would have been that incident we saw in the background after that start line incident in this race. So he's been given a black flag. He'll be serving a drive-through for that one, unfortunately. Right back in 31st position. I can't imagine that's going to affect his chances too much today, because it's not looking good for him already.
No, absolutely. A bit of a tough one for him to take, but Edwards already, that's just a bit of the dirt on the exit, a no name there. That might...
Just seen a crash from Brian East as well. Slightly slow racing entry. Coming to turn 1 has just locked it up massively. And that front right has copped the entirety of that hit.
His steering's completely out of a line. Yes, it is.
So I think he's going to have to limp that back. That steering is not looking healthy at all. But he's managed to keep it off the track nicely. See more dirt getting kicked up. These guys are absolutely exploring the limits of Spa's track. Tell you what though, I'd be more inclined to explore it with a bit more tarmac, honestly.
Yeah, look, I'd advise that as well. Each to their own. I'm not going to complain.
Here comes Edwards up the inside of Loretti, making it look easy.
Yeah, interesting at the front there. Sinise has actually gotten past Lam Nguyen and is a second ahead. So this is a really good opportunity for Sinise actually just to really push this out, and Craig Edwards will be put into no man's land if he can get past Nguyen, but I'm not sure how that's going to affect him, because he does have Loretti behind.
He's tacked onto the back of the slipstream here down the straight as well. Have a look at the pace up through a Rouge. Of got a time penalty's just been issued as well. So that goes to car number 19, Jake Robillard, has copped a time penalty for his collision with Greg Bradley in lap 1, turn 1. So just a few incidents getting sorted out by race control from those starting collisions that we saw. More than one incident happening throughout, as we see Craig Edwards starting to close the gap to Lamuen, and he's bringing Loretti with him. Doug Gowan's not too far off the back, and Scott Pocock has made his way up as well. So 4 very quick drivers just sticking it together as Lamuen and Giuliano Sinisi do their absolute best to hold them off. They don't have as long to try and survive this. We're under 20 minutes to go in this race after that long safety car period. But with Craig Edwards' pace, I suspect he'll be back out in front in no time. And then it'll all be down to pit stops and strategy from there to see where everybody finishes. He runs very wide. He's obviously pushing his car very hard, but keeping it really tight. You haven't seen it sliding around too much at all this evening.
No, certainly not a whole lot of sliding. Not too bad from the driver. Sineze's pulling away nicely from Nguyen there. Edwards really, he's going to go too wide into bus stop. Maybe Nguyen might even, I think Nguyen's actually just let him pass. I think that's actually a really smart call.
Absolutely,
yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. He knows he doesn't have the pace of Edwards.
Yep.
So he's just going to do his best to hang in there. As we've seen, Pocock's gone off. What's happened here?
Down to that. Oh!
He's just lost his. I don't even know how he's managed that there.
Just a bit of the aero change, I reckon. Maybe he's just interrupted the grip on the rear of the car, and he's just slid it round. Not really interrupting anyone on the entry though.
Look at the number of spots he's lost as a result.
Yeah, huge.
That's cost him. To go back up front, and here comes Craig Edwards, 2 seconds out to Sinise now. So let's see what he can do. Nice clean air though for Giuliano out in first place. But Edwards reeling him in already, cutting tenths off through every corner. The pace that Craig Edwards brings in these cars is something special to see. It really is. He plays it down when we spoke to him earlier, but makes it look so easy.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually think I saw a bit of smoke there just coming towards the entry of No Name. I think maybe there was a bit of a lock-up for Giuliano Sinise, but I don't think it's anything too major at the moment. Craig Edwards we spoke to him before, he was looking for a consistent race, being patient, and he's certainly being rewarded for his patience. He's already pulled out, 8 tenths to Loretti. Nguyen's fallen back another 8 tenths back from Loretti, so I think Nguyen knew
in no time.
His day was done.
A little bit of a flicker from Craig Edwards, but that's okay. Let's take a look further back through the pack. We'll keep an eye on that and jump back up front as Edwards gets closer and closer to Giuliano Sinise. But here we have Kalnin leading out a train of, what have we got, 6-7 cars, all within a couple of seconds behind him.
Yeah, he's not quite giving the slipstream to Filippo as of yet. Andrew Liddon is sitting in behind. Mitch Curry, Bartine. Oh, side by side.
Side by side. Oh, that was close. One's done well to go wide there and just avoid contact. Curry's just pushed him all the way out.
That was deep though from Curry. I saw that coming from a mile away. Could he get the exit that he needs?
Almost managed it. He's going to tap on the back of Curry. Let's see what happens down into turn 1 here. With 15 minutes to go in this 40-minute second race. Right in behind Curry. And he'll be right up along the back of him as we head into the straight again. Scott Bartine though, tacking onto the back, and Greg Bradley wants to go as well. So these 4, there's a little bit more space now to Kalman and Philpott ahead of him, but Mitch Curry's got it all to do to hold off the 3. As they'll have the aerodynamic advantage, and there goes Lydon up the outside. Here comes Bartine looking for a tow through as well. Curry's left defending that inside line, but can he hold it into the corner?
Worried about a potential tap here. Oh, yep,
Who's that? That's Chris Philippou that's slid there. So that's actually not any contact from these guys. That is simply him losing it through that corner. I think we'll go back and we'll take a quick look.
Just listed himself, I think, maybe on the curb. Oh,
Yep,
yeah, on
yep,
the curb. Just
gotten up on the curb.
maybe.
Thankfully, no contact, so he'll be back underway. But it's cost him some places. As we see these guys take on the back of Lamb, and it does look like Lamb's had an issue as well that's brought him back through the field, because he was well further up than 8th earlier. He was sitting up in that top 3. And now finds himself getting tracked down by Andrew Lydon and Mitch Curry. Scott Bartine and Alex Wilson on the back of this pack now as well. So we've got 5 in this train. Lamb Newen, he's going to have to decide what he does here again, whether he moves over, if he tries to hold it together and hold these guys off, as we see Mitch Curry making the move up the inside. He's going to find himself on the outside of this corner though. Does he have the grip? It's a reversal of last lap. Curry was on the other side as it comes through Lydon, just getting a little bit loose. That's going to cost him some speed, and Curry makes the most of it. Bartine looking for a way through as well. But Curry boxes him out. Now does Andrew Lydon have the speed out of the corner again to keep on the back? Or are we going to see Scott Bartine making the run?
Not sure. Down to turn 1. Let's have a look.
Oh, don't make
Donahue.
it. Giving each other plenty of space. Good to see.
Yeah, that's okay. Andrew Lydon just doing it nicely, slipstream down towards Eau Rouge Radiant. Not the place I would want it. I'd want it probably after. Oh, goodness me, a 3-car slipstream.
Yeah, Lydon's lost it there, and that's opened up a big gap out to Curry, so Bartine's got it all to do to try and catch up. He's going to be dragging Bradley and Lydon with him.
He's about to get mauled here. You watch this. Oh, maybe not. Maybe they're... Oh, I wonder if they're going to play it smart and work together to get back up. That's not a terrible idea. If they're going to hold on to Bartine, he can get that slipstream. That'll pull them all forward. Maybe that's not a... I thought he was about to get absolutely taken.
Up over those curbs. It's not going to be great for his tyre longevity. He'll have to be thinking about a pit stop soon, I would think. Bartine has had that stop though, so this is Bartine and Bradley in this pack, in behind Mitch Curry there. They've both made their stops. Curry hasn't. Neither is Andrew Lydon behind them. So Bartine and Bradley may be able to go the distance here as we come down to almost 10 minutes to go at this point. And looking up the field, worth pointing out, Craig Edwards, I think he might have gone into a bit of fuel saving mode. He has not closed the gap any further from 1.6 over these last couple. So playing the long game here. He knows there's no point trying to push too hard, because they're all going to have to come in and pit for fuel at some point soon. So we'll stick with this as Kalman's gone through on Lam Newen. Now Mitch Curry will be looking to do the same.
Absolutely. Certainly some more moves that can be done. As you say, Curry's looking in on Nguyen. Bartine's not too far behind, so certainly a move can be made. Oh!
Making a move. That's Kalman going in for the pit, so...
Yeah.
Maybe he'll get some clear air back with Mitch Curry right on his tail, and he'll be looking to pass down into turn 1 here, I'm sure. And it hangs wide. Curry just holding in behind there, looking for the slipstream, and I imagine we'll see him pass once they get through Eau Rouge here. This is the thing, right? You can't be driving 10/10 and trying to pass every opportunity you get. There is a long game to consider. And here's Mitch Curry making the move, nice and safe. Although Lam Nguyen's got a better exit, so they're going to end up side by side. But Curry does.
I reckon if I was Nguyen,
I'd just back it off a little.
Yeah. Oh, and he's almost gone deep into the com. I don't recommend that as a strategy.
Everyone getting through cleanly, and that's what we like to see. So Curry very comfortable now out in front. Bartine will be looking for a way through so that he doesn't lose touch with Curry. Everything just starting to tidy up a little here.
Yeah, it's certainly getting a little bit nicer, just keeping it single file, keeping the slipstream there. So let's see, that pays off. 10 minutes to go now, so around probably 5 laps left in this race. See some drivers possibly coming to take some fuel.
Go on board
much
here with
fuel,
Scott Bartine. Just taking the views from his suspension. as he tries desperately to track down Lam Nguyen. Set up well for the run down the back straight as well. Plenty of aero advantage here to be taken. And it really is about choosing your moment to pass, because you don't want to give that advantage straight back as you make your way through. But this is one of the better spots on the track where you can take advantage of it and actually make your way up. Nguyen's not taking a defensive line, so this will be the move.
Yep. Oh, he's
Curry,
still there.
big lock up. Bartine has to back it off
Over
as a
and under.
result.
Oh, I thought there might have been an over and under there from Bartine, maybe into turn 1, or he might hold off and just wait till the straight. That's not
There
a
it
terrible
is.
strategy.
Doesn't have it
Sticks
though.
the nose in. Yep, Nguyen bloody was full too, but he pulled the exit up nicely, and that's not terrible for Bartine. He'll get the slipstream, probably get past Nguyen pretty quickly.
We'd hope so. We'd hope so. Very, very clever racing. It's good to see people playing a bit of a survival game now. We're down to the last 10 minutes. And he takes the line up the inside to just defend a little. He's going to have to be careful. I wonder if he knows that Bartine's there as he makes a move up between them, looking to take Curry around the outside. This is dangerous. Can't help but hold my breath there. Bartine's right up alongside again. But I think Bartine might find his way through here. Nguyen's stuck on the outside of this corner. Bit of a lock-up from Bradley, who's looking to make the move as well. Bartine pushes on. So here we go.
This is going to be another close one here, you reckon? Bartine certainly got something here. He's got Lamb holding up Bradley behind. So Bartine needs to really take this opportunity to catch up to Curry. And Curry's got a 10-second gap to Lee in front.
Big gap out in front, absolutely. Yeah. Let's take a look a little bit further back as Darren Fahey's finding himself hassled by a pack of 4 as well, made up of Gerard, Donahoe, Nankervis and Tesoriero. So these guys all impacted by some of the earlier incidents. But a nice little battle going on for 12th place. Fahey finds himself a second ahead of a threatening train of cars that are looking to make the move on him. As we come on down, now these guys will be thinking about pit stops, a couple of them. Gerard's had his, Donahoe and Nankervis obviously getting those repairs earlier on. As we see him going all over the shop just in behind. Keep an eye on Nankervis here as he tries to hold off Tesoriero and Robillard. He's a fair way back after that, 4 seconds. So we see Nankervis going in for a pit stop.
Yeah, that's not a terrible idea. Maybe just
don't want to get caught up in that too much.
Yeah.
Fahey though, comfortable with a few less cars on the back. Gerard the only one that's really stuck with him. Donahoe now left a bit out in the open as they start to space back out. As we look to the front now, here comes Bartine on Curry, side by side. Curry pushing him as wide as he can. Bartine having to give a little more room. But Curry has to give the place up. Now, is he going to try and take it back straight after?
No,
not really anywhere to go there.
Just sit in the slipstreams, what Curry needs to do. Maybe do a bit of defending from Bradley. Push him back into Nguyen, maybe.
Yeah, it might be the way to go, as we see Bradley's made the move through as well. So Lam Nguyen just dropping back through the order, slowly but surely, but playing it safe as he goes. So we see Maloney and Robillard have had an incident further back in the pack. We'll try and take a look at that shortly. But Doug Gowans and Adrian Loretti just ahead of this pack. Still going at it, still in touch, both taking it easy with fuel at this point. We're down to 5 minutes to go here. So the question will be, can they get away without a stop because of that long safety car period? Meanwhile, just ahead of them, Giuliano Sinesi is looking in that rear view because here comes Craig Edwards. Now to within a second of position 1. He'll be looking to time this just right. And there goes Sinesi in for a pit, so he's out of fuel. Craig Edwards now out in front, has not made a pit stop.
Yeah, that's certainly going to shake things up. Edwards.
So let's see if his strategy pays off.
Oh, I don't know. I dare say he might actually pit in this incoming lap. Maybe he's decided he just needs to maybe change it up to what Sinesi's doing. That would
See,
certainly
Loretti's
change
gone
things
into the
up.
pits there as well. As we take a look back, Mitch Curry coming into the pits as well, so he can't go any further on the fuel that he's got. So this is going to start to shake the order up. We look ahead, we've got Craig Edwards well out in front, 3 seconds back to Douglas Gowans now. Lee Keldulis has been quiet all race, but finds himself just chugging along in third.
Yeah, he's got a pit though, doesn't he?
He might do. He might do. So let's see how this all washes out as the field makes a wave of pit stops further down. Tesoriero's in, Kalman was in there as well. And virtually the entire field now having made a pit stop, with the exception of our top 3 here. Edwards, Gowans and Keldulis still yet to pit. Lam Newen still yet to pit, but can't be far off at this point. Andrew Lydon just in behind him, still yet to pit. And Darren Fahey somehow has gotten away without pitting.
Yeah, so still a couple of laps left, of course. You're probably looking at 2, so the driver's still got some time to make those pit stops. I don't know if the fuel saving under the safety car would have been enough. Evidently not if Sinesi's in the pits. And, you know, the likes of Loretti, Curry as well. Pocock.
See what Edwards does here, because this will be telling. With 3 minutes, we're running a 2-minute lap. I reckon we'll be down to 2 laps to go here. So does he have the fuel to make it through? He's still running at a good pace. He's not far off his best lap pace at the moment, so certainly hasn't taken the foot off the throttle. Are we going to see a splash and dash here?
Oh, look. You'd reckon so, wouldn't you?
You'd have to think so. We've seen an incident. Nankervis and Gerard now further back.
Yeah.
Here we go, splash and dash. Okay, Craig Edwards has to come in. And he's followed in by Doug Gowans as well. So let's keep an eye. There goes Keldulis. So let's keep an eye on Scott Bartine. This could be his opportunity to find himself out in front. Craig Edwards in the lane now.
No.
Oh, Bartine's had to come as well.
Yeah, I was
so
wondering about that.
Greg Bradley, he's going to push it. He's going to try and make it on this fuel. But it's
2
not.
laps to go, though.
There's still 2 laps to go. Okay, so he hasn't quite done enough there.
No, I don't think he's going to do it. And he's still going to come out behind Craig Edwards just anyway.
That's it. Craig Edwards has done brilliantly. And it's going to be very, very difficult for anyone to catch him here. Sinesi's come out in third, but a lot further back. Let's go back and take a look here. We'll leave these 2 tussling for just a moment to see what's happened to Jamie Nankervis. And he's just slid that, unfortunately, all on his own. So it hasn't actually come together with Matthew Gerard, but looks like a similar sort of spot has caught him out. Just up and over and beached it just a little on that curb.
That's
every
caught
time.
a couple of drivers out. Yeah,
that curb is nasty. You cannot ride that curb like you can in the GT3s. And a lot of these drivers with the experience in the GT3s. So they've got to really try and stick with that. As we look forward, Craig Edwards now opening up that gap on Greg Bradley. So we'll have 1 more lap after this. But further back in the pack, here's Lydon and Curry at it again for 12th and 13th. Sorry, 13th and 14th, these 2.
So battles further back, battles everywhere. You can see all these cars just coming in at a big, lovely train of slipstream. And hopefully that won't affect the order too much, of course. But through P1 they go. There's a lot going on here. I don't even know where we can look at the moment. Liddon's got Curry
Let's
behind.
take a look right here. Greg Bradley.
Yep.
He's out of fuel. Look at the pace.
Is he?
He's running low. He's 2.5 seconds off his best pace right now. He's doing everything he can to save fuel and stay in this. I don't know if he's going to have enough to get to the end. So he's got another lap after this.
He'll pit, you'd reckon.
No,
Ooh.
he's going to try and make it. So here we go. Last lap. Sinesi's found himself in second. The new entry tonight, doing well. Doug Gowans tacked onto the back of him. Greg Bradley. Is he going to make it to the end? He must be on fumes by this point.
You'd reckon so. He's definitely pushing it. It's not a terrible strategy. Could it give him a top 5? Possibly.
Look,
depending on
Loretti's just made a stop, so Loretti will be at full pace there. Bradley's going to be doing everything he can. Doug Gowan's looking to go around the outside as soon as he makes the move. Side by side up the straight. Craig Edwards cruising away out in front. Gowan's trying to push defensive. As soon as he ducks and dives and weaves around, trying to find a way through, but Gowan's again making that Formula car just super wide through all of these turns. Does a fantastic job of defending.
Yeah, got to do that on the final lap, of course. Craig Edwards comfortably leading Douglas Gowan's 3.6 seconds. Sinezi's a little bit further back, not far off though.
So we take a look back. Here comes Loretti catching Greg Bradley. Bradley is slowing. He's now 3.5 seconds off his best pace. He's looking to try and tuck into that slipstream, but I'll tell you what, it's a long way to go. Let's see if he's actually got the fuel. If we look forward again, Doug Gowans and Sinesi still going at it, but Craig Edwards has put the hammer down, now out to 4 seconds over Douglas Gowans. Just a masterclass.
Oh yeah, and you know he showed he had the pace in race on with that win, and it certainly made a statement coming from P10 to come into the lead here with a very nice strategy. Has just pulled it through absolutely beautifully.
So this race looking like finishing Craig Edwards, then Daylight, then Douglas Gowans. Let's just keep an eye on these guys. This is going to come down to the wire. Does Sinesi get the drive out of the corner? He might just do this. It's only a short run to the line though.
Oh,
so Gowans takes it. 0.18 in it. But Craig Edwards, race 1 and race 2 winner. What a fantastic drive from him. That splash and dash just enough to get him in and out, keep his P1 and follow it all the way through to the end. So brilliant bit of racing. So we take a look a little further back through the pack. Everyone's starting to finish up in behind these guys. So let's take a look at the results from race 2 tonight here, the MC Motorsport Super Formula Lights Championship round 3, wrapping up with Craig Edwards, your victor in race 1 and race 2. Fantastic points for him this evening. Doug Gowans stealing a second place for Velocity SimLab, and Giuliano Sinesi really representing very well as a new entry this evening, taking out third. Loretti bringing some points home for Kittens Racing in fourth. Kel Doulis, as we said earlier, very quiet tonight, but a 5th place is nothing to sneeze at here. And Greg Bradley manages, just barely I reckon, to get his car across the line in 6th place. So how much fuel he'd have there, I have no idea. It can't be much. Scott Bartine finishing up in 7th place, a little further back for Everything Simulated. Lam Nguyen manages to maintain a top 10 finish despite getting passed by a lot of cars there. Pocock, best he could manage this evening was 9th, and Alex Wilson rounding out the top 10 in race 2. Let's take a look a bit further back while we wait for these drivers to just complete their cool-down laps. And we'll have another chat to Craig and see how he's feeling. James Bunker, though, the ADHD Racing Team entry in 11th. A stellar result for him there. He'll be very happy. Andrew Lydon finding himself back in 12th with Tyler Blackburn managing a 13th, which, considering the start that he had, getting absolutely mauled by everyone, to finish up in 13th is absolutely fantastic for him. He's done well to salvage that. McLaren in the Everything Simulated entry in 14th, and Darren Fahey ending up in 15th, with Calvin and Bowman not far behind. Donohoe there in 18th, and Mitch Curry finishing 19th, just ahead of Matt Tesseriero in 20th. Not a great evening, unfortunately, for Colangelo in 21st, and Gerard, a couple of incidents seeing him back in 22nd. Palmer, though, 23rd place there for ADHD. Jake Robillard, a couple of incidents have found him back in 24th. Nankovich and Neal in 25th and 26th after late incidents there. Lefebvre and Maloney, Brian East, Chris Philippou rounding out the 30. And unfortunately for Sam Kay, the Velocity SimLab entry, out very early this evening. So not what he would have wanted to see. As we take a look back through just a few of the incidents here. Happening a little later on in the race. Chris Philippou, unfortunately, just finding himself all alone, but looks like he's what's happened here? Has he run out of fuel?
It does appear that way.
Looks like Chris Philippou may have just had to glide it to the end there. So we see Matthew Neal also having a bit of a late incident that saw him fall a bit further back through the field as a result. Just lost sight of him there, but he's ended up spinning it around on the exit of that final chicane, which is, look, not uncommon, is it? It's a bit of a tricky one. It catches a lot of drivers out. And we'll take a look again at Jake Robillard. Just having some issues coming together there into turn one. Oh, really trying hard to squeeze, and they've just ended up wheel to wheel, and unfortunately, Robillard coming off worse for wear there with Tom Maloney, the other car involved. So we'll see what happens when the stewards review that one, because I've certainly seen worse. But we're joined once again in the commentary booth by Craig Edwards. Craig, you must be satisfied with that for a night of racing, surely. Oh, Craig, have we got you there?
He doesn't.
Sorry, I pressed the wrong push to talk button.
There he is. Mate,
Yes.
bloody well done. 2 first places this evening. You must be absolutely stoked.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to complain with a result like that.
No, we won't hear it. We're not going to allow that at all. So, talk to us. How has that all played out for you? And how have you managed to find yourself back in P1? Obviously, that early safety car, that incident off the line, playing its part to get you up through the field.
That's true, except I was very lucky to survive that. It was cars left and right of me that I just went through. I got a 4X, but no damage. So, yeah, I was pretty fortunate in that one. And then I watched Doug Gowan's pit under safety car, and I was looking at the time ticking down and thinking, oh my goodness, I think he's got me on strategy here. So I was fuel saving once we got going, which is why I didn't range right up on the back of Giuliano straight away. And yeah, I realized I was not going to have enough fuel, and I thought Doug might have that extra lap that I didn't. So I just went flat out, did my pit, and I was very thankful to see that everyone went into the pits.
Nothing like being out in the lead and setting the tone there. So, yeah, certainly something we were watching. We saw you making your move on Sinisi there, but then quite happy to just sit in and play the fuel strategy, and it's paid off handsomely for you. A couple of number one spots is really going to solidify your position in the championship. How are you feeling about the next few rounds? Anything that's coming up that's worrying you in terms of tracks?
Do you know, I have no idea what we're actually racing at next. So
that's the way to go, isn't it? You can't be scared if you don't know what's ahead.
Yeah, I got to say, I haven't driven much at Hockenheim. I've just found the schedule. So possibly that might be a bogey track for me, but I've done plenty of laps at Fuji. So yeah, no troubles with Fuji.
Right, well, looking forward to seeing what you can deliver. We said it earlier in the broadcast, you've certainly proven yourself the man to beat in the Super Formula Lights so far this season. Really, from here on, how are you feeling about your chances, and who's going to be the closest competitor for you to watch? Who's nipping at your heels that you're a little concerned about having to go head to head with?
Well, it's probably any of the finishes in the top 10 tonight. Plus Scott Bartine, of course. I think he was in 10. Yeah, it seems to be maybe 3 or 4 at the front, but you can see with a track like Spa, anyone who could slot in to actually just run in the draft was able to make something of their race. So yeah, I think Fuji's going to be much the same with the big long straight there. So anyone who can sort of go with the flow and without losing too much time is going to be a threat.
Looking forward to seeing what the next few weeks brings, and we'll be watching with keen interest as the championship starts to unfold. Craig Edwards, another fantastic set of races for you this evening. Well done. Go and celebrate with the team, and we're looking forward to hopefully chatting to you again in the winners booth in the not too distant future. Well done, mate.
Thank you very much, and yeah, cheers, guys.
So Craig Edwards there, our winner, race 1 and race 2, wrapping up beautifully this evening. And Mitch, your first race back in the combox in a couple of weeks. How'd you find it?
Look, I had a feeling it was going to be a couple of incidents, but that was a bit more than I thought, I must admit. Some quite large incidents, in that race 2 right at the start there. Blackburn just not quite getting where he wanted, but of course, still some very good racing. So, I'm hoping that that proceeds, on going into Fuji and Hockenheim and then into Zandvoort for the final round. Can't wait to see how that goes for the next coming round.
It'll be another tight race. I'm wondering when it is we're going to see these drivers start to settle it down and try and avoid that safety car, because it's really playing havoc with a lot of the strategy for these teams in trying to make the most of that sprint race particularly.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. They just fighting for all the points that they can get, and they're certainly not holding back. And it's great to see. It has a really good effect, in terms of the championship. But maybe they just need to be a bit more careful in that race one, because that can certainly affect them for race two if they can, have an incident, unfortunately, and then start a longer way back down the field. So maybe just bit cleaner race one, and I think you can go for it a bit more in race two.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, the stewards room already looking very busy as we try and sort out a few of the incidents from this evening. And I don't envy race control with having to decide on the outcome of some of those reviews. So we'll keep an eye on the standings if there are any more time penalties to be applied, and we'll check out the championship points next time around. But that will do it for this evening. So a stellar finish to round 3 for Craig Edwards, taking out P1 in race 1 and race 2 of the MC Motorsport Super Formula Lights Championship here at the legendary Spa-Francorchamps this evening. A huge congratulations for him, and really a couple of well-deserved wins and some really solid points for him in the chase for the championship as we find ourselves at the halfway point of this 6-week season. Don't forget, we are back, of course, on Thursday night as we jump back in the 86ers for what has been some of the closest racing that we've seen in the MC Motorsport calendar so far. So thank you to all the fans for tuning in. A big shout out to our incredible sponsors and partners for making this event possible. The broadcast tonight brought to you by Simple Racing Broadcasts. It's broadcasting made simple. We will see you next time as the MC Motorsport Super Formula Lights Championship continues. Until then, stay safe, stay fast, keep the racing spirit alive. And from all of us here at Spa-Francorchamps, Mitch Hobbs, thanks for joining me in the commentary box. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you at the next round. Goodbye for now.
See you, everybody.